Welcome Nancy and Nicholas. You're much welcome to Project Trinity podcast. Yeah, you're greatly welcomed. So, guys, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone joining us from different parts of the world. Welcome once again to Project Trinity Weekly Podcast, a platform where we don't just have conversation, but we explore ideas that are actively shaping lives, communities, and the future of work. Today's discussion is both timely and deeply relevant. We're exploring the question from zero to digital. Can one skill change the entire community? Across many parts of the world, access to opportunity is still limited. But what we are witnessing through Project Trinity is a different reality, a reality where individuals begin with little or no access, and through structured support, discipline, and digital skills, they begin to transform to not only their own lives, but communities around them. So today, we are not just asking whether one skill can make a difference. We are examining how that transformation actually happens, what it requires, and what it means for the future. And to help us unpack this, I'm joined by two individuals who are not just the participants in this journey, but active contributors to this transformation. We have Nancy Chebet, whose journey reflects the personal side of growth, resilience, adaptation, and the real human impact of gaining digital skills. And we also have Nicholas Camerinyang, who brings a broader perspective on systems, structure, and how individual progress translates into community level change. Thank you both for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you on the podcast. And to our listeners, wherever you are tuning in from, we invite you to be part of this conversation. Reflect, engage, and most importantly, share this podcast so that more people can discover our work and also know what Project Trinity is doing. Let's begin. Please, Nancy and Nicholas, you're welcome and introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you, our moderator, for that. Thank you, everyone. My name is Nicholas Camerinyang, a Project Trinity associate from Kenya. My perspectives come from being closely involved in a system that is designed to move individuals from learning into meaningful participation in digital space. Coming from rural context, I have seen how much potential exists, but also how often that potential is limited by lack of access, exposure, and structured opportunity. So this conversation for me is really about understanding how we can bridge that gap in a way that is practical, sustainable, and impactful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Valerie, our moderator, today's moderator. So, hello all. My name is Nancy Chebet, and I am an associate with Project Trinity here in Kenya. I'm really excited to be part of today's podcast, and it's truly an honor to share my journey and be part of this meaningful conversation. And today's topic, that is from zero to digital. That is one skill can change the entire community. Yeah, it is very personal to me because I have lived that journey and I have experienced what it feels like to start from a place with limited access and exposure. And I've also seen how learning even one digital skill can completely shift our life. So I'm really looking forward to sharing my smooth and hopefully encouraging someone out there who feels like they are starting from zero. Thank you, Valerie.
Wow, that was an amazing introduction from our guest. So let's now start the conversation. Nicholas, when we speak about starting from zero, what what are the actual structural barriers individuals face before accessing these digital skills?
Thank you, Valerie, for that question. When we speak about starting from zero, it is important to move away from assumption that individuals lack ability. In many cases, what we are actually seeing in structural exclusion, these include limited access to devices such as laptops, inconsistent or expensive internet connectivity, and in some cases, even electricity challenges. Uh, but beyond infrastructure, there is also an informational barrier. Many people are simply not aware of what opportunity exists in the digital space or how to access them. So another key aspect is the lack of guidance. Even when individuals are motivated, they may not have a clear pathway that connects learning to actual opportunity. So zero is not about capability. It is about being outside of the system that enable participation and addressing that require more than just training in just training. It requires designing an inclusive system. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Nicholas. For real, that are some of the strong barriers, and that gives us a strong foundation, because understanding zero is critical to understanding transformation. And at Project Trinity, we are working directly with those realities every single day. So, to our listeners, reflect on your own starting point now. And don't forget to share this conversation to more people so that many people can be part of this. So, Nancy, building on that idea of starting from zero, how will you describe your access to opportunity before engaging with digital skills, and how has that definition evolved?
Yes, that is very powerful question, Valerie. Okay, before engaging with digital skills, I would honestly describe my access to opportunities as very limited, very, very limited. Okay, I felt like many doors were closed, not necessarily because the opportunities did not exist, but because I did not have the tools or knowledge to access them. So there was a sense of being left behind, especially in a world that is becoming more and more digital. And but as I started learning digital skills, my perspective completely changed. And I began to realize that opportunities were not just something you wait for. They're something you can actively pursue and even create. Now, I think I can access information. Now I can connect with people and take on tasks that I never imagined before. So for me, opportunity has shifted from being distant and unreachable to something that is now within my control. Yes, thank you.
Well, thank you, Nancy, for sharing that personal experience. You know, that is just goes hand to hand to what Nicholas just outlined, because behind every system there's a human story, and that's exactly what Project Trinity is transforming. If this resonates with you, to our listeners, if this resonates with you, share this podcast and let someone else hear these stories, so that you can get more personal stories like this for Nancy. So, Nicholas, took, taking both the structural and personal perspective into account, do you believe a single digital skill is enough to create meaningful change, or does it require a structured ecosystem like Project Trinity to have a great impact?
Okay, thank you, Valerie, for that nice question. A single digital skill can be very important starting point, but its impact is often limited if it exists in isolation. What tends to happen is that individuals acquire skill, but then face challenges in applying it, whether it's accessing platforms, finding opportunities, or understanding how to translate that skill into value. From what I have observed, the real transformation happens when that skill is supported by an ecosystem. This ecosystem includes mentorship, exposure to real tasks, feedback, and an understanding of how work is done in a practical environment. So while a skill can open the door, it is surrounded a structure that determines whether that door leads to meaningful progress. Thank you.
Wow. Wow, Nicholas just said that ecosystem is important, and that's why we have Project Trinity, because skills in isolation cannot create a bigger impact. That distinction is important because it moves us from possibility to sustainability. And Project Trinity is intentionally building that structure around individuals. To our audience, think about it. Is skill alone enough? Is skill alone enough? Share this and let's expand the conversation. Nancy, thinking about your own journey within this structure, within Project Trinity, can you identify a moment where you clearly felt the shift from limitation to possibility?
Yes, Valerie. I can clearly remember that there is a moment this happened during my training when I was able to independently complete a digital task. Okay, these are things like navigating a computer or like working on assignments and maybe contributing on real projects. So before that, I always felt very unsure and dependent on others. But that moment changed everything. I realized that I was capable, that I could learn, and that I could actually do these things on my own. And up to this moment, I think I can handle my own tasks. And it may seem like a small step, but for me, it was a big turning point. So that is when I shifted from seeing limitations to seeing possibilities. And it gave me that confidence to keep going. Yes.
Wow. Moments like that often defines the turning point. When something from internal changes and everything else begins to follow. That's where Project Trinity creates lasting impact. So, listeners, have you ever experienced a turning point like that? What Nancy just shared? Share this, share this podcast and inspire someone today so that they can also share their turning points. So, Nicholas, following that turning point that Nancy just shared, how important is Project Trinity? How important is it that Project Trinity focuses on real output and the practical work rather than passive learning?
Okay, thank you. The distinction between output and passive learning is very significant. Passive learning allows individuals to understand concepts, but it does not necessarily prepare them to apply those concepts in real situation. On the other hand, output-based learning requires individuals to engage actively, to produce, to solve problems, and to take responsibility for results. This creates a deeper level of understanding because learning is no longer abstract. It becomes functional. It also builds confidence because individuals begin to see the direct results of their efforts. Over time, this approach shifts the mindset from learning to know to learning to do, which is essential for real world effectiveness. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Nicholas, for sharing that about passive learning and practical. Because once the mindset shifts, action must follow. And that's where real transformation begins. Project Trinity ensures that learning is translated into practical or into doing. So if you believe in learning by doing, share this conversation with someone who needs that mindset. Thank you. So, Nancy, as you began applying your skills in real work, how did that influence how your community started to see you?
Okay, it has had a very noticeable impact to me because from the community where we all come from, people can even see us that we already have knowledge and understanding when it comes to technology. We have that knowledge and also the understanding. So people come for us, whether it's something simple like maybe like using a device or something more involved like managing online platforms. And before, you know how hard that was before Project Trinity. And right now, things have really changed, and it has also changed my role. And from someone who was learning quietly to someone who can now support others, and that has been a very influential to the community, and that it has also given me a sense of purpose and responsibility, because I know that what I have learned is not just from me, but can also benefit these around me and from the community where all of us come from. Yes.
Wow. You know, when your skills or becomes visible, that's a real transformation. When others begin to recognize the change that you are creating in the community. And we are lucky that Project Trinity is here to amplify that visibility. Many people can know what we are doing through Project Trinity because they can see the impact we are creating. So to our listeners, as your growth change how people see you, we want to see them in the comment section. Yeah. Share this and start that reflection. Just reflect if the growth that you've experienced has changed how people see you, how people take you. So Nicholas, from your observation, what is the highest measurable sign that someone's digital skill is beginning to create impact?
Okay, thank you for that question. The earliest measurable impact is often an internal, even before it becomes visible external. There is a shift in perception. Individuals begin to see themselves as capable of creating value. This shift is very important because it influences how they approach opportunities, challenges, and growth. Then gradually, this internal change begins to reflect external. You start to see individuals engaging more confidently with tasks, contributing in practical ways, and demonstrating an ability to solve problems. These early indicators may seem small, but they are critical because they mark the transition from passive participation to active contribution. Yes.
Wow, that's an important indicator because it shows that when change moves from internal to external, it shows how change moves from internal to external. And you know what? We are fairly lucky that Project Trinity tracks this growth intentionally. And to our audience who are following us right now, what signs of progress do you notice first? Share in the comment section. So, Nancy, when the change becomes visible, to what extent do you think your personal progress begins to influence others around you?
Okay, that is really a great question for me, because when people see someone, they relate to grow and succeed. And it makes the idea of change feel more real and achievable. And I have noticed that some people in my community have become more curious, about digital skills simply because they've seen my journey, and they've also seen the journey of all the associates in the community. They've seen the fruits of Project Trinity in us. And also, you find that others have started asking questions. You know the questions they ask? Not like they seek guidance or even taking their first step towards learning. Some even come up to this point to our compound, like, I want to learn this, I need to know this and that. So for that case, I've come to realize that that personal growth doesn't stay personal. It spreads. And you know very well, even right now, we are well known, Project Trinity is well known I think it's worldwide. You see? You see how important that is? Even small progresses can inspire others in ways we may not even fully see. So, yeah, that is very important.
Wow, that's a great influence, Nancy. And that influence is where individual growth starts becoming a collective change. And that's how Project Trinity is scaling impacts so that many individuals can be known around the world, worldwide. So to our followers right now, please, who have you influenced through your journey? Share this podcast and tag them. Just tag them in the comment section. Anyone that you feel that you've influenced is or alive. I want to see them in the comment section. So, Nicholas, building on that ripple effect, how does individual skills development intentionally translate into broader community transformation?
Uh, Thank you, Valerie, for that question. Transition from individual growth to community level impact is not automatic. Uh, it requires intentional effort. However, there is a natural influence that occurs when individuals begin to demonstrate what is possible. In many cases or many communities, people learn by observing others. And I think this is majorly in our rural communities. People will try to learn the first code, which is us. So when someone begins to apply their skills in visible and practical ways, it creates curiosity and interest. I think that is the major cases it's happening now. People want to join Project Trinity because of curiosity and interest that they have seen there. So this can lead to informal knowledge and sharing, mentorship, and gradual spread of skills within the community. For this to scale effectively, they need to be a culture of sharing and a mindset that goes beyond individual success. So when individuals see their growth as part of large ecosystem, the impact becomes much more significant. Yes.
Wow, that's great, Nicholas. Because, you know, shift does not happen by accident. It requires direction and design. And that's why Project Trinity is here to approach it with purpose and give people direction. So, our listeners, do you believe change should be designed or left it to happen just naturally? Share this and let's hear your view. Nancy, in many communities, technology still feels distant. How has your experience helped redefine that perception?
Okay, that perception is very common. And I used to feel the same way back then. Like, okay, technology often seems like something that belongs to a different world and something complicated or only for certain people, especially when you are starting from zero. Get it? Yeah. So, but my experience has completely changed that perspective. So I've learned that with the right support and with the right training and through patience, technology becomes more approachable. It is not about where you just start. It is about being willing to learn step by step, one thing at a time. So for me, through my journey, I've been able to show others that technology is not out of reach, but that has helped shift how people around me think about it. Yes.
Wow, redefining perception is powerful. It's really powerful because once something feels possible, people begin to act differently. That's what Project Trinity is driving. Listeners, how has technology become part of your daily life? And how do you use technology in your daily life? Do you use technology day by day? Or how oftenly do you use technology or interact with technology in your life? Share this in the comment section. And also, it will open other people's perspective about technology. Nicholas, once perception begins to shift, which factor becomes more critical for sustaining long-term success? Maybe in terms of, you can share in terms of mindset or a technical skill.
Okay, thank you for that. For me, mindset plays a foundation foundational role in determining long-term success. While technical skills are important and can be learned within period, a defined period. So mindset influence how those skills are applied and developed over time. So, for example, qualities such as consistency, discipline, adaptability, willingness to learn continuous or all are driven by mindset. In many cases, individuals with a similar level of skill achieve very different outcomes. And the different outcomes come down to mindset. So while technical skill provide the tools, mindset determines how effective those tools are used and how far an individual can progress. Yes.
Wow, mindset and technical skills. You know, that balance is to have that balance of having a mindset and your technical skill is very powerful, and it's also very essential because skills just opens the door, but mindset will determine how far someone goes, and the project Trinity develops and builds this mindset and skill both together. So to our listeners right now, which one drives your growth more? Is it a mindset or a skill? Share this and join the conversation. If it's a mindset, you can just share which mindset always drives you or which skill drives you. Yeah, we're going to see them in the comment section. You're following them. So Nancy, reflecting on your journey, which was more which was more challenging for you? Is it mastering the skill itself, or is it building the confidence to apply it?
Okay, when you ask which one among is the true, like mastering the technical skill or developing the confidence to apply it, I think for me, developing the confidence was definitely more demanding. You can't compare the two. But learning the technical skill is something you can be taught. You get the difference and guided through. But confidence, the confidence is something you built within yourself. And that takes time. So in the beginning, I struggled with self-doubt. Like, am I really on the right track? What am I doing? Is it something that is good for me or what? And I would question whether I was doing something right or whether I was doing good enough. But I kept practicing and receiving support. Slowly built that confidence. And I once started believing in myself, applying the skills much easier. Thank you, Valerie.
Wow, that's great, Nancy. Actually, for me, I can also relate about confidence and the skill itself, because having a confidence is such a it's a process, because you have to it does not just come easy like that. We remember, to our listeners who know about Generation Kenya, those days, you remember when the tutor points you to speak, what was your first reaction? You want to see them on the comment section. Were you confident enough to speak to them, or were you sweating? How was the reaction? Yeah, I want to see them, because that distinctions highlights the human side of growth, because confidence often determines whether a skill is used or not. Project Trinity nurtures both, and you're lucky. So to our those who are following us right now, what has challenged you more? Want to see them in the comment section also. Is it learning or believing in yourself? Share this, and it will definitely inspire other people. So Nicholas, considering both skill and mindset, what elements within Project Trinity makes this model scalable across different communities?
Thank you, Valerie, for that nice question. What makes that model effective and scalable is its focus on principles rather than rigid structures. It emphasizes practical engagement, real world application, and community based learning. These elements can be adapted to different environments because they are not dependent on specific resource or conditions. Additionally, the model encourages individuals to become contributors, which creates a multiple effect. As more individuals gain skills and begin to apply them, they can also support others, which allows the impact to expand organically. So scalability comes from both the design of the model and the behavior it encourages.
Wow. Actually, scalability is the key because real impact must extend beyond one place. And that's why Project Trinity, we are a global, we are a global team. We are here in Kenya. Our colleagues are in Haiti, and we are extending to many places, to South Africa and also to many remote places of the world, many underserved communities that they feel they are left out. They don't have access to these technologies. Yeah, Project Trinity is here to eliminate that digital divide so that those people who are in rural communities and who are in urban centers, at least they feel they have the equal opportunities and there is no gap left between them. So, and Project Trinity is building a model that can travel. So, to our listeners right now, maybe you can share with us where would you like to see this impact next? Where would you like to see Project Trinity next? Because scalability is the key. We don't want just to remain in one place, but we want to expand around the world. Yeah, share this and expand the vision with Project Trinity. Nancy, how as the hands-on practical learning approach at Project Trinity strengthens your understanding and the retention of skills?
Okay, project. Thank you, Valerie. First, for me, Project Trinity promotes learning through practical engagement, and I can say that this approach has been very impactful for me personally. So with Project Trinity, learning was not just about theory; it was about actually doing the work, the practical thing. So we were given real tasks and real responsibilities. And that made the learning process much more meaningful. And because of that, I did not just memorize things, I understood them. And also for that case, I was able to apply what I learned immediately. And that helped me in retain the skills much better. It also prepared me and the rest of the team for real world situations. Like right now we are facing real world situations. We can do this, we can do that without no fear. And that is confidence in all of us. Thank you.
Wow, amazing. Application depends learning. And that's why Project Trinity focuses on real engagement. It makes growth sustainable. So at Project Trinity, when we learn something, at least we apply it practically. We do it on ants so that we see how the impact is being created and people to feel the communities to feel the impact, how we are doing it. So to those following us right now, do you learn better by doing or by observing? Share this and let's hear your experience. If it's observing or it's by doing it practically, which part do you feel that you get more skills or you learn it more? Yeah, we want to know your experience. So Nicholas, as individuals grow in capability, have you observed a shift from dependency towards independence? How does that show up?
Okay, thank you. there is a noticeable shift in how individuals relate to opportunity. Once they develop functional digital capabilities, initially, many people operate within limited options and many rely heavily on external system for support. However, as they gain, as they gain the ability to apply skills in practical ways, they begin to engage more proactively with opportunities. This shift is both economical and psychological. Economically, there is a greater independence in how individuals generate value because now everyone has knowledge and idea of manifesting and doing and building himself. So psychologically, there is a shift in identity from being dependent on opportunities to actively participating in creating them. This transformation has significant impact not just on individuals but on how communities evolve over time. Yes.
Wow, that's powerful, Nicholas, because shift defines empowerment. You know, moving from resilience to self sufficiency feels so good. And that's a core outcome of Project Trinity. So that our communities, Project Trinity is here to help our communities so that the communities around us, at least they feel independent. Yeah, and also they get more connections globally. Like if they have something to sell, they can sell globally. Like now, artisans, they get connected to the global job market where they can just shift their products. Yeah, and that one helps to that way of creating independence to our community, to individuals, and Project Trinity is here to help more people in the road to independence. So, to those listening to us right now, what does independence mean to you today? Share this and bring others into this conversation. So, Nancy, along the journey towards independence, what social or cultural barriers did you face and how did you navigate them?
Okay, Valerie, when you talk about barriers, I think each and every one of us come along and face barriers, be it cultural, be it social. Yeah, each and everyone can come along barriers. We encounter, all of us encounter this. There were definitely some barriers along the way for me. And if I can remember, one of the main challenges was the belief of technology is either too difficult or not necessarily, especially in some communities. But there was also internal doubt, that is questioning whether I could really succeed in something new. Mhm. So I navigated these challenges by staying consistent and by being open to learning and seeking support from those who guided me. Like when we remember the first time our training with the Generation Kenya, you remember that? When things were tough for all of us, when handling even a small task was really tough for us. And we survived this by those are the people who guided us, and at the same time also we also had our patrons and our managers. Yeah, they guided us. They gave us the right way to go. And I also reminded myself why I started. You know, like you say, why did I really have to start doing this thing? But that helped me keep moving forward, no giving up. I kept on moving forward even when things felt very challenging. So the point here is, yeah, barriers are there, but you need to ask yourself, why did I really have to do this? Why did I start? And for that case, you need to pull up. and encourage yourself and say, no, I must do it till the end. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, and maybe to support on Nancy's point is that let me talk on a uh, social barrier. So it's very important because social barriers are oftenly underestimated. They don't just affect the access; they affect confidence, decision making, and even how individuals see their own potential. In many cases, overcoming these barriers require not just a personal effort, but also visible example that shift community perception. Thank you.
And kindly, Valerie, before you continue with another question, if I would ask my colleague, Nicholas, you remember the first time when you started with Generation Kenya? How tough things were? So maybe I know the barriers are there. Like just talked about social barrier, and maybe you can, if you can tell me how you overcome them, because I just shared my mind how I did it, and that is why I'm here. So can you tell me maybe how you overcome them until now that we are here? Here we are. It's really a great milestone. So maybe if you don't mind, you can just tell me how you managed it.
Okay, thank you, Nancy, for that question. I think when we started, I think it has take a moment, a time, because even those days, accessing a computer was also a challenge because the class training was on a online or Zoom. Then you you are told to do something and you can get it clear, but now maybe responding or just taking the moment, it was a difficult. And another thing that we can celebrate as a project community is that on those days, we had a limited resource. We had a small working place, so we need to move in shifts. Even movement from home to the working center was a challenge, especially on the rainy season. But now we can celebrate. We are on a milestone, and we have testimonials to address to people and to the entire world. Thank you.
Wow, that's. Thank you for sharing the barriers and how you both have navigated them. For real, Project Trinity has helped us a lot because we remember the first time we joined when Project Trinity started here in Kenya. The first time we were trained by Generation Kenya, and it was very hard. Let's say, I think one of the biggest barrier that I faced was that for communication skills, because I think I had less than 10% confidence. I could not speak in front because I remember when they just mentioned my name, I could start trembling, sweating, then like, but now as time goes, I learned how to at least to overcome nervousness and yeah, confidence grew step as time goes, and now look at us now. At least you can speak in front of cameras. Yeah, and that's one of the barriers. And I know also to to all of us, to many of us who are following us right now, I know that barriers are part of life, and I know many of us, we have one challenge that we've ever faced in our life, and we overcome them. We navigated to get out of that challenge, and we overcome them. Maybe you can share them in the comment section. Which challenge? What was your greatest barrier along the way, and how did you navigate them? Yeah, we want to see them in the comment section, because overcoming those barriers, it strengthens both the individual and the systems around them. And Project Trinity creates a space for growth. Yeah. So to our listeners, share in the comment section what barriers have you overcome and how did you overcome them. Yeah, when to share. So it's because when you share these barriers, it will encourage someone else who's following us right now, or who will listen to this podcast. Yeah, let's proceed. So Nicholas, if resources were limited and you had to prioritize one digital skill for maximum impact, which will you choose, and on what basis?
Thank you, Valerie, for that. Uh, for me, if I had to prioritize digital skill, I would consider digital marketing because of its strong connection to value creation. It enables individuals to directly contribute to business growth by improving visibility, reaching new audience, and driving engagement. This is also a skill that can be applied across different industries, which increase its relevance and feasibility. Additionally, the barrier to entry is relatively low compared to some other technical skills, making it to become more accessible. So, in terms of practicability, scalability, and impact, it is a strong entry point for individuals looking to engage in digital economy. Yes.
Wow, that's awesome, Nicholas. That question brings us back to our core theme. That's the power of one skill. And Project Trinity is proving how impactful that can be. Maybe Nancy, can you share with us that one skill that you are proud of, that you got here at Project Trinity?
Okay, Valerie, since you asked for one skill, yeah, I can definitely give one. There is a clear outcome in my life right now. For me, I am able to handle tasks like tasks that require digital skills. Okay, tasks like communication, content creation, and working on online platforms. And I can tell you that is what we are working on right now. And these are things that I once felt very impossible for me, very hard. I felt like it was a really big task. So beyond that, it has also opened up opportunities for growth and contribution. And I can now participate more actively in professional spaces and support others in ways I could not do that before. So this transformation is something that I'm really, truly proud of. Yes.
Oh, thanks for sharing that, Nancy. You know, tangible results always validate the entire journey, and they make the transformation visible and real, and that's what Project Trinity delivers. Yeah. So for me personally, maybe if I can add something on that tangible skill, one of the tangible skill that I'm proud and I celebrate today that I got from here at Project Trinity is website development. Because when I joined Project Trinity, I had no idea how to develop websites, what languages are they using. So I was zero. But now through Project Trinity, I'm now able to use the skills that Project Trinity gave me and create an impact to my community. And I'm really proud of that. So to those who are following us right now, what results or what skill are you proud of? Share this and let's celebrate the growth together. Because yeah, as earlier shared from Nicholas and Nancy about mindsets and skills, yeah, there is that mindset that always drives you, that always drives you to learn something or to get something, to know about something. If you have that mindset, then getting that skill will be will be very easy. So yeah, just share the skill or the results that you have done and you are very proud of. We want to see them in the comment section and we celebrate together. Yeah. So, Nicholas, from your perspective, what is the most common misconception organizations have when trying to transform communities through technology?
Okay, thank you, Valerie, for that question. Okay, thank you, Valerie, for that question. Um One of the most common misconceptions is that technology itself is the solution to community challenges. While technology is a powerful tool, its effectiveness depends on how it is implemented and integrated into people's lives. If solutions are introduced without considering the local context, needs, and level of understanding, they often fail to produce meaningful results. Another misconception is focusing too much on tools rather than outcomes. And what matters is not just access to technology, but the ability to use it in a ways that create value. So the real focus should be on building systems that combine technology with guidance, context, and opportunity. Yes.
Yeah, that's true, Nicholas. In the communities, we have some misconception because, it's not all communities that they believe in technology or they are aware of technology, because sometimes you get some communities, they don't, okay, they just hear technology, but they don't know what is it about. So, like, you get a lot of people in the community, they just they don't bother about technology because there is no one is there to explain to them what is technology and what are some of the benefits of technology. Yeah, and also, you get people you get people using technology in the communities without them knowing that they're using technology. Yeah, so, challenging misconception is always necessary for real progress. And when people like those people get someone to train them and also to help them know and learn about technology, they they will accept it and they will come to know about it, and also they will evaluate in their lives. Yeah, and this will bring more innovation in the community. And that's why Project Trinity is here. Project Trinity continues to redefine that works, and also it continues to bring technology to more communities, to more people, yeah, to more underserved communities, so that they know it's not only the people in urban areas that know technology. At least now, people in rural communities, through Project Trinity, they know technology, they know how to use it, they know the benefits, yeah, and they're very proud of it. So, to those following us right now, you can share with us some of the misconceptions that you see around you. What are some of the misconceptions that you see around you about technology? Yeah, and share this so that this narrative can be shifted. Yeah. So, Nancy, based on your experience, do you believe the widespread access to digital skills can truly transform the entire community? Why or why not?
Yes, Bernadette. Based on my experience, I do believe that widespread access to digital skills, it can transform the community. And the reason as to why I say yes is, for example, when people gain digital skills, they gain access to information. You get the skill, you gain access to information. And also you gain access to opportunity and to networks that were previously unavailable. I hope you get that. And this creates growth, not just for individual, but for the entire communities. So for that case, it improves livelihood, it builds confidence, and encourages action. And when many individuals begin to grow and improve their lives, you know what the outcomes is. that collective progress, that progress of maybe building the confidence and encouraging the information in the innovation, that automatically, that progress leads to real community transformation.
And maybe to add on that, I think what is important here is that digital skills act as an entry point rather than a completing solution. They create the possibility for transformation, but that transformation depends on how well those skills are integrated into real opportunities. So it's not just about teaching skills. It's about building systems that allow those skills to continuously create value. Thank you.
Wow, that's awesome. What we've heard from Nancy and Nicholas is that transformation doesn't start with many things. It starts with one skill, one person, one opportunity. And through Project Trinity, that transformation is no longer a possibility. It's already happening here. Yeah. So before we wrap up, to my guests, Nancy and Nicholas, any final word that you like to leave to our listeners?
Okay, for me, digital transformation is not just about skills or tools. It is about creating systems that enable individuals to participate meaningfully in opportunities. When those systems are designed effectively, the impact goes beyond individuals and begins to influence entire communities. And that is where the real value lies, in building not just capability, but sustainable pathways for growth. And I think the real example now is the Project Trinity. We don't talk because of theory. We talk by real example and practical. Thank you.
Okay, as I conclude, I would say this, like like what Valerie just said, transformation does not always start with something big. Sometimes it starts with one opportunity, one skill, and one step. So I am a living proof that starting from zero does not mean staying at zero. With the right support, with the right determination and willingness to learn, change is possible. And so, to anyone listening who feels limited or unsure, your starting point does not define your future. One skill can change your life, and your life can change your community. So, thank you so much, Valerie, for having me today. It's been a pleasure sharing my journey. Thank you so much.
Wow. As we wrap up, one thing stands out as you've heard from Nancy and Nicholas. Real change can start with just one skill and it creates a big transformation. Through Project Trinity, we are seeing how that one skill in the right environment can grow into something much bigger, impacting not just individuals, but entire communities. A big thank you to Nancy and Nicholas for sharing your thoughtful insights today. And to our listeners, thank you for following us. Thank you for listening to us. And if this conversation resonated with you, share it and help us reach more people. This is Project Trinity Weekly Podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.